I'm talking to Brian David Johnson, the author of a new book called Screen Future, and he is an actual futurist for Intel Corporation, which leads me to ask the question, how do you become a futurist for a computer chip company?
A lot of hard work is what you do. Well, I mean, you think about what we do at Intel is we literally make the future. So when we do our chip design and we do our product planning, we always have to look 5 to 8, sometimes 10 years out. So in a way, being a futurist for Intel, we already are all living in the future. And the work that we're doing now, we're working on the 2017 platform and 2017 chipsets. So as you start to think about what we're designing and what we're doing, we're all kind of doing a little bit of futurism, but it's really my job to look a little bit further out and figure out what are people going to actually want to do with our platforms.
In your book, Screen Future, you talk about this wonderful device that's so near and dear to all of us and so ubiquitous, the television. Yep. In what ways is it transforming?
Well, it's interesting. One of the things that we're beginning to see with 3D TV, with Google TV, with Boxy, and a lot of things that we've been seeing here at IDF is that the nature of television is changing. You know, television is the center of our lives for many people. It's literally the center of our living room. And what we're seeing as we kind of look out into the future is that the TV is really kind of coming off the wall and moving around to multiple devices. And it's sort of moving through our day with us. And then along with that, it's becoming more personal. So it's no longer about being there specifically for the broadcast. It's no longer about basically having your day built around the broadcasters. It's more about personalization, and it's more about ways of being kind of social, ways of talking to your friends about the show, maybe even while the show's on.
So give me an example of how TV, in a way, may interact with people in the future.
So one of the things that we've seen that's coming is sensors. So the idea that your television could have a sensor. Now, for some people, they're a little bit worried about that, and they're kind of thinking, well, what would that be like? Why would I have a sensor on my TV? I just want to sit back and watch my TV. But one of the things that we are sort of, what are the scenarios that make that sort of interesting? Imagine you have your TV, and your kid comes walking in, maybe you have a 6-year-old child, comes walking into the room and sits down in front of the TV. What if the TV can actually recognize them, keep it secure, keep it safe, that that information doesn't leave it? But when the kid comes in and starts watching TV, all of the content becomes appropriate for your child. Around 2015 is when you really begin to see this sort of amount of sensors, the amount of information out there, and really some of the business models start to push us towards, reaching this sort of critical point where we'll begin to see some of that. And we're not trying to change it. We're not trying to take television and turn it into a cell phone or take television and turn it into a computer. We're trying to keep that entertainment experience. But what the addition of the microprocessor does is it really opens it up. It transforms it. It makes it more social. It makes it more ubiquitous. It makes it more personal.
As a futurist, though, you must be left with the impression that we are at an inflection point in regards to entertainment and knowledge gathering and getting all of that kind of information through screens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're at a unique point. And I think it started, quite honestly, about 6 months ago. And we'll be there for a few years, where you've got this tremendous shift happening in the sort of world of TV, if you will. Because TV involves many different industries now. It's not just the TV industry, the advertising industry, and the television maker. It's also the set-top box manufacturer, it's the cable provider, it's the wireless company. So you have all of these different industries that understand the power of television, they understand that television is changing, and they're all just beginning to work together. And that's really why, one of the reasons why I wrote the book, is that to make this screen future happen, we have to get all of these different industries who aren't used to talking to each other to start to have a conversation. And that's where I think futurism can really help Intel, can really help the future of computing, is that you can use these conversations about the future, use the research that we're doing to get people to start talking. And that's how we're really going to get there.
Is Screen Future a contemplation or a revelation?
That's a great question. When we talk about doing kind of pragmatic futurism, what you'll hear a lot when people talk about, when they say, oh, you're a futurist, tell me what the future is going to be. Futurism is not really prediction. It's more about iteration. It's more about creating a concept and a vision for the future. For us, it's the future of computing. Putting it out there and having a conversation about it and iterating and kind of moving it forward. So I think in Screen Future, it was all about the conversations. So it was about going out, having a conversation with, say, the head of strategy for Paramount Pictures, finding out what she had to say, and having that image of the future become a part of what we're sort of pulling together as the future. And then that would kind of change what we were doing, and then we would go talk to the head of CBS, the head of research, and find out what his vision was. And so what you start having is all of these different sort of visions of the future coming together, and for us it's really instrumental, and again it's very pragmatic because we can begin to get all these different perspectives on the future and really give us a much clearer path of where we need to go. I mean, 50% of the book is what other people think about the future. It's not what Intel thinks about the future. So we're allowing other people, so it's allowing other industries to affect what we think the future could be. And I think that's something different here at Intel, and I think it's something that's very important.